Yeah, that was maybe the worst card of the year. It was horrible. There was nothing good about it. I didn't enjoy it. Emmett versus Murphy. We're gonna do a full card recap. I know no one really wants to talk about it, and it's gonna be UFC 314 fight week, so we're gonna be talking about that tomorrow. Be bringing up the 4 ounce league, everything like that. But right now, this is what we're gonna have to talk about. We just gotta recap a little bit of it. You know what I mean? Emmett versus Murphy, really dead fight. I'm MMA DBM. You go ahead and find me at MMA underscore DBM on TikTok. Go live twice a day, etc. Blah blah blah, all that stuff. Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy was a horrible card. On paper, was legitimately a horrible card. We're gonna go over the entire card from bottom to top, and hopefully pretty quickly because it was genuinely horrible. Not one thing was fun. If you guys saw my 4 ounce picks in the 4 ounce giveaway league that I was doing, Demopolis, I had so many decisions in this, and it was so dead. It was not fun to watch. I did a live stream throughout the entire main card. It was an okay main card at best, but at the bare minimum, like it was a very very fun live. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow me, enjoy my lives. But as of this card, I mean, let's start off with Demopolis versus Alan Card. Demopolis quite literally maybe one of the dumbest fighters in UFC history in this fight. I mean, some of the takedowns that Ellen Carr got were quite literally horrible. And Demopolis, again, her takedown defense is literally garbage. So her getting on bottom, I picked her to win. I know I didn't have the best of prelims. I went like 3-3 on prelims. Went 5-1 in the main card though, which we're gonna get over. But yeah, Demopolis looked horrible. Was just on bottom the whole fight. Was surprised in this fight, and then this next one right here, Badai versus Sato Badia, that how these refs didn't separate these guys when that's been the thing they've been like pushing forward a lot more often, and then like in later fights they separated like Torres, Finney, Robert Valentin, and a couple other ones. Like don't get me wrong, they should have separated them if that's how the UFC does it. I don't believe in separating fighters. I do not believe in separating fighters. It is as simple as this. The entertainment factor goes away. I fully understand that. But if you're the guy or you're the lady getting controlled, it's as simple as this. Open up your guard, explode, risk your energy, and you have to get out of the position. It's as simple as that. You got yourself into that position because that person worked to get you into that position. It is your job to get out of the position. I don't care how boring it is. It is going to get boring. It is as simple as that. It's going to be boring until somebody actually tries to get up because you have to win the fight. You're the one fighting for your second check. It's as simple as that. If you don't get up, you are screwed. Simple. Plain and simple. Moving forward. Yeah, I thought Demopoulos pretty clearly lost on Khan moving forward. I thought Sadio Baldiev was okay. I mean, considering the guy he came in on like what? He's a light heavyweight that came on at heavyweight short notice, like 30 pounds or so underweight compared to Badai. I think Badai had like 35-pound weight advantage. Yeah, okay. I guess I'm not too confident in the decision being Budai's, but it was a whatever fight. Henry versus Falcao went exactly as I expected. Falcao actually got a lot more takedowns than I expected, to be honest. But Henry, just the better overall fighter, more output, harder hitter somehow. I mean, he was knocking down Falcao a good amount. Hurting Falcao, much more damaging shots, reversed him a couple times, and the man as well got his own takedowns. Yeah, Victor Henry, very clear win. Loma Lookboonmee versus Estela Nunes. This was supposed to be a fun fight. It wasn't a fun fight. I really don't want to talk about it because this fight pissed me off more than a lot of the fights on this card. Like even the Torres Finney fight, I expected to be there. We'll get to that in a second. But this fight, I expected to be fun. It was not fun. I was watching Estela Nunes try to clinch and to get takedowns. I've never seen Estela Nunes try to clinch and extend and get takedown. I've never seen that. I've never seen that. It was a closer fight than the odds give though. Loma is like exactly what the UFC needs to look at when it comes to making a 105-pound atomweight division. Like you have the biggest stars in one, like Stan Fairtax and Angela Lee at the time were atomweights. They were atomweights. Loma Lookboonmee is an atomweight. They need to open an atomweight division. Hell, their most entertaining division throughout history is strawweight, 115. The lighter the weight class is for the women, the more entertaining the weight class is. So they should open a 105 weight class. Loma would be pretty fantastic in that one. Reese McKee versus Daniel Frunze. This was a hilarious fight. Performance of the night got given to Reese McKee. Reese McKee like looked like he was barely hitting Frunze, and Frunze was getting hurt badly. But you could see the cuts that were on Frunze. I mean, the eye was shutting out. Maybe broke his orbital bone. Obviously, the lip was disgusting. If you saw the picture of that lip, man, whatever. Look. I'm not a fan of doctor stoppages whatsoever. I completely hate them, especially in a sport where they're quite literally taking brain damage. Like the least of their concerns is going to be an infection, in my opinion, compared to CTE or concussions. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was a really 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 nasty cut on the lip. Like it was disgusting. I can understand why they did it, but just doctor stoppages in mixed martial arts is maybe the most contradictory and hypocritical thing we've ever seen. I didn't like it. Whatever. Those guys trained for 8 weeks, knowing they could take this kind of damage. Just let it happen. Just go. Let the fight go. Diana Belbita versus Deone Barbosa. This was one of the funniest. What are we doing here? I do not want to open that up. This was one of the funniest fights like ever booked in UFC history. Diana Belbita, coming off of a loss, has been submitted by Molly McCann. They put her up when she goes up weight. They put her against Deone Barbosa, who just lost to Miranda Maverick. What was the objective of this fight? There's no basis that you can argue for the rights of this fight being legitimate. Why is Diana Belbita fighting Deone Barbosa, a grappler that is much, much stronger, heavier, and just way better overall grappler than Belbita is, after Belbita got submitted by Molly McCann, and we see how Molly McCann is on the mat. Molly McCann is so bad on the mat, and we're watching Diana Belbita get submitted by armbar against her, and we decide we're going to throw her in with Deone Barbosa. I know not every fight can be a pick'em. Some moron on my TikTok ended up commenting, not every fight can be a pick'em. That is nowhere near what I'm implying. I'm implying make a fight with substance. Make a fight where there's some sort of direction going on for each fighter, and there's some sort of reason for it. And when you're matchmaking a fight, you're like, yeah, this could be good. There's nothing about this that could be good. Unless you knew the card was so bad, which it was on paper, and it was in reality. It lived up to the expectations of being garbage. Yeah, you could put on a card or a fight where you think, yeah, someone's just going to walk through somebody. We just want to see a finish because we might not see many finishes in this card, which we didn't. Moving on. Main card. Torres Finney versus Robert Valentin. A lot of people had this fight by knockout. That somebody it was going to be under. I had it on my 4-ounce league by decision. Torres Finney by decision. Because I watched him in the Contender Series. I watched him a couple times in the Contender Series. This guy sucks. Torres Finney sucks. But he's strong. And Robert Valentin sucks. And he's not that good at really anything. Neither is Torres Finney. But Torres Finney's strong. And he's athletic. And he's a brute. And he's a brick house. And what's Torres Finney going to do the whole fight? Throw him. That's literally what he did. The whole fight. He was throwing Robert Valentin around. A lot of people were annoyed with Robert Valentin. Some people scored it round 1, round 3 for Valentin off of damage or whatever it is. To some point, right? I know damage is the number one scoring criteria. It's blah, 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 all that stuff. But how can you justify Robert Valentin getting ragdolled for, what, how long was it? I mean, let's see the control time on Finney here. Torres Finney landed 17 total strikes. I think 4 total significant strikes. 4 in the second round. 0 in rounds 1 and 3. So I understand why people wanted to say Valentin won those rounds. But Valentin landed 23 total significant strikes. 23. I can understand why round 3 went to Valentin. So I could see the 29-28 scorecards for Finney. The 30-27 scorecard for Valentin was purely out of spite. That was one of the funniest things in the world. On live, we were going crazy on that. 8 takedowns for Finney on 47%. Valentin didn't land a single takedown. Valentin had 93 strikes, but 23 significant. At what point can you say that Valentin really did anything apart from just getting ragdolled this whole fight? I'm being serious. It was such a sucky fight, but he quite literally did nothing. He got taken down the entire fight. I can't justify Valentin winning anything. At round 3, maybe, because Finney took him down twice, but was on the feet a little bit amount. 0 significant strikes to 14. Not much was really done on the mat in general, but Finney wasn't really on top for nearly as long in round 3 as he was in rounds 1 and 2, and wasn't landing 5 takedowns like he was in round 1. And then round 2 was very clearly Finney. I mean, actually landed strikes in round 2, had more significant strikes, and got the takedown and was on top. Valentin did get a reversal, but I don't know why I'm spending a lot of time talking about Finney and Valentin. Cut them both. They both suck. They're both boring. Valentin got finished by Ryan Loder. Do we really need to go any further with this? Finney's not good. I mean, cut him. Or make him cut weight. One or the other. Ode Osborne, what are we doing here? Ode Osborne versus Luis Gurule. I think Gurule had the fight pretty clearly for a bit, and then he just started entering blind on every single shot he had. I mean, everything he threw, he followed it with a blind kick. Or he threw a blind kick in the beginning as well. I mean, there was literally telegraph after telegraph after telegraph from Gurule in round 2. And that left hand was landing for Ode Osborne for the majority of the fight. And some people were saying the knockout was out of nowhere. It was not. Ode was landing that left hand very cleanly anytime Gurule just kept stepping in. And at some point, he was going to crack him. He cracked him, almost blew the finish, but Ode Osborne ended up getting the finish. Was fun. Finally added something, especially right after the Torres Finney fight, where these guys looked so fast compared to what we were watching prior. So, yeah. And then we ended up going right back to how slow with 2 really old middleweights in Gerald Meerschaert versus Brad Tavares. It was a sucky fight. We knew it was going to be a sucky fight. It was going to be boring. We knew it was going to be slow paced. Tavares looked good, but it was because Meerschaert looked pretty bad. Meerschaert looked slow. His entries were horrible. And I mean, if you knew what you were watching and if you knew what you were looking at with this matchup, I mean, Brad Tavares is one of the best takedown defenses in in UFC history, and in my opinion, possibly the best in UFC history. I mean, the guy's takedown defense and his anti-grappling style is unbelievable, and sometimes it leads to stale fights like this one. But he looked good. He was tagging Mearshot a lot in this fight. Mearshot just looked horrible on the feet as per Mearshot. I said Mearshot. Well, he looked shot. Yeah, Mearshot looked horrible on the feet, and yeah, it's clear Tavares. I don't understand where. I mean, no way. What was it like round? What round did people give Mearshot? I don't know if anybody gave Mearshot a round or not, but he started landing a couple. I think it might have been round 2 where people gave him it. But Tavares, in my opinion, was clear round 1, landing a lot harder strikes. Was it round 2 or round 3? I can't remember which one Mearshart got, but I understood the sentiment of Mearshart getting around. I just don't remember which one it was. This fight wasn't really that memorable, to be honest. This one was Romeus versus Changoli. When we finally got past all those, like, it was such a bad card. We at least knew the last 3 fights would have been something of substance. I was wrong, but we move forward. Cortavius Romeus versus Changoli. Now here's the thing: cut him, get him out. He's done. I mean, he had the back of Chang Ho Lee. Cortavius Romeus had the back of Chang Ho Lee. And he went for, after slipping for an armbar in round 1, in round 2 he had the back, was going for the rear naked choke, getting position, getting on top. He wasn't falling off the top either. And he decides to go back for an armbar, completely give up position, and roll for an armbar. And he slips off, and he's on bottom. And then he gets finished in the same round. Maybe one of the lowest IQ fighters I've seen in the UFC. I mean, quite literally. And if you want to say I don't have IQ or whatever it is, and I'm a low IQ, I get it. These guys are fighters. I'm comparing them relative to fighters. So if you're going to tell me I'm fat and I'm sitting on a chair and I'm talking from here, I absolutely am. I'm not a fighter. I'm talking relative to fighters. Commentators at games don't play. When people talk about other people, it's relative to whatever they're talking about. We're talking about the UFC. I'm talking about UFC fighters. Cortavius Romeus is one of the lowest IQ UFC fighters I've seen. He's also relatively undersized for the division, and he missed weight. What about Cortavius Romeus makes you want to re-sign him as a UFC? Is it because it's going to be a fun fight every single time, and he's probably going to get smoked every single time, depending on who you put him with? I think Lee's a little bit overrated. I think he puts a very fun pace. I think on the striking, he just goes for a straight barrage, and he leaves himself completely open to actual good counter strikers. Puts on a very fun pace, but on the mat, very reversible. And Romeus was getting him in pretty bad positions, again, like the back. Like, if anybody who is somewhat decent at anything MMA, they would actually keep the back and not roll for an armbar like Romeus did. Yeah, a lot of people are high on Lee now. I think that could be fun to see a big underdog later on against him, where he just genuinely is nowhere near as good as people are making him out to be after this performance. Romeus is just so much worse. Moving forward to the co-main event that everybody was telling me I am a complete deluded moron for picking past Sabatini over Joanderson Brito. Everybody and their mom was on Joanderson Brito by knockout here. That Brito's going to walk through him. He's going to smoke him. First of all, this submission attempt is one of the biggest loads of garbage I've ever seen in my life, because Brito jumps guillotine literally everywhere. But when you're in the half guard or in the side control, it is not a threat. It is a threat only in the mount or in the full guard. That is it. Sabatini, levels above grappler, completely smoked him. And this fight was boring because Joanderson Brito did not want to open up his half guard. And this is another point what I'm saying. The guy on bottom, if you are refusing to get up, and you are refusing to open up your guard and to explode and to waste some energy and to try to get out of that position, and risk getting into a worse position just to get up and try to scramble, it is your fault for being in half guard for 13 and a half minutes of a 15-minute fight. It is your fault for being held against the cage if you don't want to explode and get out of position. It was Brito's fault that this fight was boring. Sabatini was trying to pass the guard. He was trying to get out. Brito was fantastic with defending the position. But it was because of that he was losing every single minute. It was because of that it was such a boring fight. Sabatini mauled him. I know ball. Move on. Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. Everybody's saying Josh Emmett's going to knock him out. I don't know what you guys are talking about. The 40-year-old coming off a year-and-a-half layoff with one knockout in the last 6 years, being against Bryce Mitchell, of all people, by the way. Who, again, Bryce Mitchell's not a bad fighter, but Emmett was a 2-1 underdog in that fight. That should let you know what the sentiment was on Emmett going into that. And, of course, it wasn't necessarily wrong. He just landed a big overhand right, and Bryce Mitchell gets hit pretty often. Lerone Murphy, much better overall fighter. I thought he won all 5 rounds. You could argue round 1 to Emmett. I mean, total strikes, significant strikes kind of showcase it. In general, Lerone Murphy basically outstruck him in every single round. Significant strikes essentially every single round, tied in round 1, but outstruck him in there. Emmett didn't really do much. I thought Lerone actually landed the better strikes in round 1 as well. Round 2, very clear Lerone. Lerone also cut him in round 1 with that elbow, so that's why I got to give him it off of damage, in my opinion. Round 3, again, very clear Lerone. Round 4, very clear Lerone. And then he also cut him. I don't know if he dropped him in round 4 or round 5, but he also cut him in round 4. And again, round 5. I mean, I don't understand how anybody scored anything for Emmett here. I think not just by significant strikes, but you got to look at the damaging strikes. I mean, Emmett wasn't really landing anything of substance. He'd have little barrages here and there where Murphy would sit there and pull up his guard and kind of block a lot of them. But Murphy was landing the better body kicks, the really good oblique kicks overall, much better shots. He rocked Emmett on the feet, almost dropping him, cut him twice with elbows. Like, it was all Murphy that fight. He was just fighting such a boring and dull fight and moving backwards. So a lot of casual fans thought, oh, Emmett's moving forward and he has aura. He's winning. He's clearly winning. No, he got outclassed pretty badly. Emmett looked slow. Yeah, the dead card. UFC 314 is this upcoming week. We're finally there. So yeah, I hope this video didn't extend 15 minutes because then YouTube won't let me post it. But yeah, anyways, appreciate you guys all for being here. Make sure you follow my TikTok at MMA_DBM for giveaways, 4-ounce giveaways, and information on all that. Fantasy UFC. Go ahead. Let me know. See you guys. Peace out.